I'm going into this Goodwill store 4 weeks in a row for a whole month in search of video games, and I found some crazy stuff. So stick around to the end because you won't want to miss it. I just pulled up to the Goodwill. You can see it here behind me. So let's go ahead and start off the month and head in there and hope that we can find something good here. So of course I had to make my way into the Goodwill store for the first time this month. Of course, I went straight back to the video game and DVD section where I found a few Wii games here, 2 copies of Wii Play and a Wii Fit Plus, but nothing else there. Then I found a few more Wii games on the next kind of aisle thing, whatever end cap you want to call this. I looked around through the CDs because I had a bunch and through the DVDs a little bit more, but unfortunately I didn't find any other games here, which is kind of a bummer. But then I made my way back to the electronics section, didn't find anything there, spotted this Pokemon Pikachu hat from afar, and then last but not least, I ended up finding this Minecraft octopus squid for only $2 plushie. This was definitely well worth it. So I did end up picking up the octopus. This thing looks totally awesome. I thought about keeping this, but one of my friends, his son, really loves Minecraft. So I hit him up and said, hey, do you want this? It's only $2, so he's going to end up getting this. But for the sake of this video, I thought this would be a fun thing to pick up, and he wanted it. So, of course, I wanted to pick something up, but this is the only thing we got week 1. But don't worry, we've got 3 more weeks, and we'll probably find something good. And I say probably, I know what happens, so stick around to the end. All right, we've got the Goodwill behind me, as you can see, so let's go ahead and head in there and see if we can find anything good, because you never know if it's going to be great or just okay. So let's head in there and find out. Then I headed right into the Goodwill store. It's week 2, and of course, you know, I went right back to the video game section or the DVD section, whatever you want to call this. And of course, I had to dig through it. I found a bunch of VHS tapes this week, which was kind of interesting to see, but nothing too crazy worth picking up. Then I made my way to this next kind of end cap where they keep games, and I looked and I looked and I looked through this, and then that's when I noticed the Wii logo. And then I pulled out The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess for only $1. Obviously, the first thing I had to do was make sure that everything was in there. And this thing was absolutely complete, which is absolutely awesome. Always, when you're out game hunting, check for the disc, the manual, and all that, because people like to take them, or maybe they just don't make it into the thrift stores. But whatever it is, make sure you always check. I looked through here for a little bit more to see if there was anything else, but nothing else was just jumping out at me. So I ended up grabbing my cart and kind of wandering through the electronics section and didn't find anything there. But that is perfectly okay, because I did end up finding the Zelda Twilight Princess for the Wii. This game's worth maybe like 15 to 20 bucks complete, but for 99 cents, you know I'm gonna pick that up. It is complete in the box, which is absolutely awesome. And I even looked at the disc, and it doesn't really look like it's been played that much. It looks pretty clean, so being able to find this for $1 is kind of crazy. Usually they're like $4. I don't know what happened here. Maybe they were confused, but buying a Zelda game, it is Twilight Princess for the Wii for only $1 is definitely awesome in my book. So this right here makes it worth going to Goodwill, but we've got 2 more weeks here, so let's keep going. I just pulled up to Goodwill, so let's go ahead and head in there and see if we can find any video games or anything related that's worth picking up. So, of course, I made my way into this Goodwill store for the 3rd week in a row here, and made my way to the very back where I ended up finding an Xbox 360 Kinect for $13, complete in the box in the very back, which is awesome. And then just down the aisle a little bit more was this drum pad for Rock Band for the Wii, which is absolutely awesome. And they only wanted $9 for this, or $8 for this, which is absolutely insane. But then I kind of started wandering around there looking to see if I could find anything else that was worth picking up. and that's when I found the pedal for $3, which is just absolutely insane there. Kind of a wild thing to find in Goodwill in multiple pieces, but starting off, this Kinect is absolutely awesome, complete in the box here. I absolutely love this old Xbox 360 artwork. That goes hard in my book, but for $13, I'm going to pick this up all day. I do need to test it still, but it looked like everything was in here, so I'm really happy to have picked that up. But the crazier part was the drum set. Now, as you can tell, it was missing the legs, but I ended up finding this, at least the drum pad portion, for $8.99, $7.99. Sorry, I keep saying that wrong. And then I found the pedal. So effectively this works, but I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I might try to see if I can find the legs for this, because it doesn't hurt to have another Rock Band drum set in the collection, especially because then you could use it. I have a Beatles version, but I'm tempted to keep this, honestly, so I might try to find some legs for this and make sure that everything does work, but it's pretty crazy to find this in Goodwill for about $12, 11, $12, and then find the Xbox 360. So far, this month is turning out to be pretty decent, but we've got one more week left, so let's head back there. As you can see, I just pulled up to this Goodwill store. It is a rainy day, so let's head in there and see if we can find anything good. Then I had to make my way into the Goodwill through the rain, and of course, you know what I did. I made my way right back to the very back where they keep the electronics and stuff. First off, I ended up finding Sonic Generations for the Xbox 360 for $4. You know I'm gonna pick that up. Then I kind of kept looking here, and down below, you can see it off to the left. I ended up finding a bunch of Xbox 360 games, which just blows my mind. And we'll get to everything in just a second, but I grabbed these all right here and was kind of in shock. And then I kind of kept looking a little bit more, and that is when I stumbled upon a few more Xbox 360 games here. Definitely for $4. I'm going to pick all of these games up that I'm finding. Definitely crazy to find these in a Goodwill, but I kept looking a little bit more, but ultimately I didn't end up finding anything else. Of course, like I said, you always got to check the discs. Now, some of these were complete and some of these weren't, but they all had the discs in there, which is definitely a must-have, and for $4 each, these were definitely well worth it. You can kind of see what I got here. And of course, check the discs, like I said. But we'll talk about everything in just a second, about everything I did end up pick up. I made one last stop in the plushie aisle because I saw this little Pokemon. And then I looked up, and there was a Build-A-Bear Pokemon with the Pokeball hoodie on. So, of course, you knew I had to grab that as well. So, this ended up being the perfect last stop. I was not expecting it to be this crazy, but it was definitely well worth it. Starting off, you see that Pikachu plush. I see this thing all the time from Build-A-Bear. For $4, I picked it up with the little hoodie thing. Definitely well worth it there. I think I might try to trade this or something. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it, but that brings us to the Xbox 360 games we ended up picking up. First off, I got Rock Revolution. I've never actually played this game, and I don't actually remember if this works with the guitars from Guitar Hero or Rock Band. I'll have to do some research. If you know, comment down below, but I'm definitely going to have to play this whenever I get my Xbox set up and everything. Then I've got Fable 2 here, which I believe is missing the manual, but that is good there. Then continue on, we've got Fable 3 here, which is actually complete, which is actually awesome. I never played the Fable games back in the day, but they look like they would be a ton of fun, and I've been tempted. Let me know if you think I should. Then you saw me pick this up first, Sonic Generations. I actually don't have this for my 360, and I've had it on my list of games to pick up, so for $4, I'm going to pick this up. It is complete, which is absolutely awesome. I am thrilled. And then we ended up with 4 different Guitar Hero games for the Xbox 360, starting off with the one everyone has, everyone plays, Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock, and it is complete, which is absolutely cool there. But then moving on, we've got Guitar Hero Aerosmith, which honestly, I'm not that big of an Aerosmith fan, but for $4, you can't pass that up. You open it up, it is complete as well. But then we kind of start getting into the crazy ones. We've got Guitar Hero Smash Hits, which is a decent chunk of money, but it is actually, it is actually complete, which is totally awesome. I saw this and I was like, okay, I've got to grab that. But the best and coolest one, and a game I don't have on the Xbox 360, is Guitar Hero Metallica, and it is complete as well. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, that's definitely staying in the collection. And this was just absolutely wild. To find all these Xbox 360 games for $4 sitting on the shelves is crazy. And the cherry on top was this little Pikachu plush. So there you go. This week was pretty wild. I ended up finding an Xbox 360 Connect, as well as a Wii drum set for Rock Band, as well as that Pikachu we just talked about, and a ton of amazing games, and none of these were over $4, which just blows my mind. These are some really awesome games. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with some of them because they are duplicates. I've got some ideas for videos coming out in the near future, and a few of these might end up being trades, but for the most part, I'm going to keep the games that I don't have, and then I'll trade the rest. So honestly, this month at Goodwill was absolutely insane. I did not expect to find half of this amazing stuff. I've kind of been hit or miss at this local Goodwill store, but I think I hit it again. So, it might be a little dry coming up, but I'll still hit it up just in case to see if I can find anything. But enough about that. I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna stop yapping. So check that video out if you haven't already. But honestly, these Guitar Hero games, anything Xbox 360 that I don't have is definitely well worth it. And Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess for only $1 is just insane to me. So comment down below, let me know what you think about all of this stuff. But I gotta get out of here, so check that video out if you haven't already.